Payable Account Management. So in this session, we're going to go into the accounting and the payables, show you all the management features. But before we do that, let us go over to Setup. There is one feature in the Setup you want to be aware of, and that is going to be in the location settings. So let's go to Location Settings. I'm going to select that. You're going to find there's a tab in here called Payable. You select that tab, you'll see there's a checkbox here to automatically purge after reconciliation. So what the system will do is when you're reconciling a payable account, it will do an automatic purge of everything paid in full. Now, if you don't want this to happen, just uncheck the box and click on Save, and then you will have to manually purge yourself. So from the accounting, if I go in, you're going to see at the very bottom left corner, you're going to see two tabs. You're going to see Payables and Receivables. So to pull up your payable accounts, you would simply go up to your search box, type in what you're looking for. Now, if I just want to pull up a single account, I just type in the name or part of the name, hit enter, it just pulls up anything with AUTO in it. If I wish to pull them all up, the easiest way to do this is just use an asterisk. Asterisk is like a wild card. Asterisk, hit enter, and then it pulls all the accounts. Now, hitting enter on the keyboard is the same thing as clicking on search at the top left corner. Okay. This is nothing but a screen refresh. Refreshes the screen. Now, when I do pull up all the accounts, you're going to see there's a account number column, the name, and the balance. You can select any of these, just simply click on them and it does a sort. So you can sort them however you like. Whatever you select on the left side is going to give you the account on the right side. So here I have Napa Auto Parts selected, and here is my account. At the top left, print, you can print this off. You can do a print preview, export to PDF, or you can email it. You do have an add, edit, and delete feature here, and at the very bottom, add, edit, and delete. So if I select add, I have the choice of entering a new contact and setting up a payable, or just a bare payable by itself. Remember, if I add a new contact and set up a payable, I will still need to go to the contacts and make them a supplier if I want to use them in the system. I can do a edit. I can come in and put an account number, change my terms, or do associations. And I can delete. So this deletes the payable. Now if I go type in yes, let's see if this is going to delete it. It will not delete if there's any sort of a balance on the payable account, so it must have a $0 balance. Let's go back over to Napa again. So from here over on the right side, these are all your management tools for the payable account. Here you have a find. You can search in any of these columns. So if I'm looking for a particular document number or supplier invoice, for example, I just type it in, hit find all, and it'll find it, and then you just click it and it'll highlight it in the background for you. If I need to look at this particular supplier invoice, I can click it. This will give me all the details. And again, whenever you go in here, you can print, PDF, email. Now, if I find that there was an issue or a problem with this and I need to correct it, then you do have the capability of undoing here. So undo post, what this will do is this will reverse it out of the payable and put it back into the supplier invoices. In other words, it'll go under purchases, supplier invoices. And then I can make my corrections and repost it back. So if I hit OK, it's now gone from here. Now there are a few things that will stop it from happening. Stop it from happening. If there's any payments made on it, if it's been paid and purged, things like that, it will not let you do this. Will not let you do this. And we're going to go through a couple scenarios as we're going through these management tools to show you how that happens. Now, if I go back to my purchases, supplier invoices, and I go look up Napa, that are not posted, here is that invoice that I undid. Now I can go in, make corrections if I need to, change whatever I need to do, and then I can just simply repost it. Put it back into the payable. Now it's just let me know it's fairly old. It's over 90 days old. Again, those little pop-up warnings that come up. And now I go back to my accounting, hit refresh, and it will now be there again. So what's going to stop that from happening? What if there was a payment made on it? So if somebody came in and actually made a payment, then that'll stop it from happening. If these have already been reconciled, if you've paid it and you have reconciled the bank, if you still need to undo it, you would have to unreconcile the bank and then come undo the payment. Transaction. What is a transaction? As you start to make payments in here, issue credits, things like that, then you can pull up details on transactions. So let's go make a payment on this one, and then we'll see what the transaction is. So I'm going to go make a payment. Now I want to pay that one invoice. I'm going to say, what is the date of the payment? And again, you can always backdate or forward date in here if you need to. Where is the money coming from? Cash out of the drawer? Am I going to write a check, or is it a direct online? Or maybe I use the credit card to pay for it. So I'm going to pay just this one invoice. Select OK. Now it's paid. So here's the invoice. Now it has a $0 balance. Here's my payment. If I go up and look at transaction, see, now I'll see there's the payment I made, and that is the invoice that I paid. If I go down to action, I can print this off. Here is the bank transaction. In other words, where did that money come from? It came from the credit card. Edit. Here I have a supplier invoice that I wish to edit. Maybe it had something wrong in the description. So I simply click on edit. I can edit the due date. In other words, I could change the due date to whatever I want. I can edit the description. Now, as long as the original amount and the outstanding amount are the same, in other words, there have been no credits or payments made against this, I can move it to a different payable account. Maybe somehow, some way, it accidentally got into the wrong account. So I can select the binoculars, go search for the name. So let's say this is supposed to go to AutoZone. There's AutoZone. I click it. I hit OK. And as a matter of fact, I can even go in here and I can change the name. Edit that. And then once I select OK, it'll move it over. So now it's no longer in my Napa account, and it is now in my AutoZone payable account. I'm going to come back to reconcile towards the end of this. On Make a Payment, again, you can come in and select which invoices you want to pay and on what date. What if I just want to make a general payment, or I want it to go to the oldest outstanding? So I simply come in and say, what is the date of my payment? We'll go back to February here. Where is the money coming from? So let's say it's coming from the checking account. I want to make a $400 payment. Now I'm not going to select anything here on the left side. I'm going to select OK. Now it's going to ask me, do I want to leave it amount as unapplied? In other words, it's just a general payment, and then I would go apply it later, or to the oldest outstanding. So you just select whichever you want to do. I hit OK. And since I'm doing it from the bank account, it's going to ask me, is it a check or direct online? Then again, I can put like a little reference number or something here. Hit OK. Now I've made the payment. So here's my payment. Now I have this $400 credit sitting in my payable, and I need to go apply it. So I simply click on it, come up here to apply. Now I pick what I want to apply it to. And again, I can go back to that actual date and then start selecting. Click on save. And then what do I do with the rest of it? I can leave it unapplied or apply it to the oldest, whichever I want. So now I still have a balance that needs to be applied. Underneath make a payment, you will find another entry here called contra. What is contra? Contra will move a payable invoice to a receivable. So sometimes you barter back and forth between a payable account and a charge account or a receivable account. Sometimes we get statements from our suppliers and they're crediting receivables. So again, you would come in and select whatever date you want to do this on. Let's just say we're going back to the 1st of February. I'm going to select what receivable I want it to go to. So let's go look in our receivable list. Now, if you know the name, fine, pull it up, or you can hit search. And let's just say it goes over here to Mr. Fred Black. I hit OK. Now, what do I want to move? Let's say I want to move this one invoice here. I hit OK. Now you'll see your contra payment here. See, now I've got a credit. And if I go over to my receivable and I go look for Fred Black, there'll be the credit in the receivable. That's all it is. Adjustments. If you wish to make an adjustment in here, this is just a manual adjustment. So I'll come in, select my date of my adjustment, and maybe we'll do something back in February again. Where do I want it to go in the system? It might be some kind of advertising expense or something. Maybe I had some advertising. And how much is the adjustment for, positive or negative? Let's just say it's a $50 credit. Now when I do this, because this is in the Canadian version, see, it's automatically adding tax. Now again, I can always adjust tax here if I need to. I select OK. Now I've made my adjustment. And then I turn around and apply it where I want to apply it. So what happens if I do an adjustment or maybe make a payment and I made a mistake? You'll notice this big red X up here. See, if I go over to this return slip, that grays out. Here I made this adjustment and I made an error. I have the capability of deleting it. This just completely reverses it out of the system as if it never happened. That's all it's doing. I can reverse payments also. You can delete if the red X is there. If it's not there, can't delete it. Purge allows you to purge any of these items that are paid in full. You select your purge date, whatever date you want it to purge to. Hit continue, and it'll purge anything that's paid in full. You can reverse a purge here. You undo, type in yes, it'll bring it back. And it'll tell you how many transactions. Split payment. Here I have an invoice for $400. Now let's say my vendor gives me 60 days or 90 days or 120 days to pay for this invoice. So I have my due dates in here already set up for the initial invoice, but I can highlight it, hit split payment terms, and now I can split this up to as many different ways as I want. Let's say I'm paying $150. I hit tab on the keyboard, and then it's going to automatically set the next due date. Now, this due date, you can change. You can set it to whatever you want. And then I do another one. Oops, a little too much. And again, I can set the due date here on each one, right down the line. I select OK. Now it will take that account and it's going to split it up. So see, here's a split, there's a split, and there's the other split. And again, once you split, you can delete. Now, whenever I delete, I'm only deleting the one split. So here I have this one for $101. Now remember, now this is it as $0 balance. So if I delete this, and I select OK, it puts it back to the original. Don't forget, like even the inventory and other places within the system, whenever you have multiple columns, you can always rearrange the order by simply clicking and dragging. Oops. You can also sort by clicking on any column. So you just kind of set this up however you want. This left panel and right panel, the sizing can be changed too by simply clicking here and dragging. Whichever you like. You set it how you want it. So let's go reconcile this account. So I'm going to select reconcile. Now, when you're reconciling, you can pre-check it off here, clear it, in other words, if you want. You can also reconcile here, select your payment date. So say I'm paying this as of the middle of March here. I can select here if I wish. You also have a match method. You can do it by due date or by post date. So let's say I want to pay everything that was posted as of the end of February. Select OK. Now it just automatically checks everything. Yeah, and also you can come back and uncheck if you need to. Okay, so if I uncheck it, see it changes the total. Now, if you're in the middle of doing this, just like the bank reconciliations or the credit card reconciliations, and I need to stop, if I hit cancel, it will ask you if you want to save it. I select yes. Now it's going to save everything. Then when I'm ready to go back and do it, I hit reconcile again. It'll all be brought forward. You just again set your date. If I'm ready, I select next. Here is the item from the setup, automatically purge. This is that little checkbox. All selected transactions that have no outstanding amount after the payment will be purged. All transactions that are older than 35 days and have no outstanding amount will also be purged. There's my payment date. If I need to change it, I can. I can even change the amount that I'm paying if I need to. And then where's the money coming from? So if I want to pay from the checking account, I select OK. Is it direct or a check? Maybe I'm going to write a check. I can print it or not print it, whatever I want to do. Make sure my check number is correct. Hit save, and now it's done. So now that's paid and purged. One of the real nice features that we have here is, even though we have purged this, if I ever need to go back and look at transactions, supplier invoices, return slips, bills, whatever the case may be, I can always come back down to the bottom left corner and show Purge Transactions. You just simply check the box, and you'll be able to go back as far as you want in the system, as far as you want. So if I go back, say 12 months, and I hit OK, it'll bring back everything that's been purged over the last 12 months. Now, the nice thing about this, here I can go back to the very first invoice, supplier invoice. I need to get a copy of it. I can still get a copy of it. I can still get my details. Now, I will not be able to undo it. See, watch if I try to undo this. Won't do it because it's been purged. So if I really, really need to undo this, I would have to undo all the purges and probably bank reconciliation, since it's quite a way back. Once you're done here, you just simply uncheck the box and go away. Here is the payment that I made. Now, sometimes people like to have a hard copy. So all you have to do is select it, go to transaction, there's everything that was paid, come to action, and you can print it. One last item here, underneath Utilities tab, you can do a batch purge of the payables and an undo. So this will actually go through all the payable accounts and do a purge. And then this just reverses it. And that is Payable Account Management.